Hello and good morning and welcome to our webinar today. So this is our third webinar in a series on skills and talents for SME growth, the potential of workplace trainings. And today we're going to talk about how to bring skills to companies. I'm Mart Veliste. I'm one of the thematic experts on SME competitiveness on the policy learning platform. And with me is my colleague René Tönnisson. So René, please also show yourself for a second.
Welcome everybody.
And as I mentioned already, today is the third session. So we've had these consecutive mini webinars for 3 weeks now. And if you haven't seen the last two, then you are welcome to check them out. The recordings are available on our website. And today we're really gonna tackle the last bit of the topic. So we're gonna still discuss 2 more good practices, and we're gonna have a discussion about how these could be transferred elsewhere and what are the success factors and so on. And today we have 3 speakers. I will also ask the speakers to join me on camera for a moment. So we have Jacques from the province of Overijssel from Netherlands, and also Louise van Weerden. So they both come from the same region, but they represent different aspects of the practice that we will be discussing. So one is a public sector view, and the second is more of a university side or a private sector view on the benefits of programs such as these. And then from Hungary, we have Anita as well with us, who will talk about a traineeship program that is run in Hungary on the national level. And all of them come from the Inside Out EU project, either as partners, as the region from the Netherlands, or as stakeholders. And the reason why we are focusing on these case studies today is because we see that they have nice similarities, they tackle the same problems, but also because within the Inside Out EU project, the good practice that comes from the Netherlands has been added to the regional action plan in the Hajdú-Bihar county in Hungary. So although it's still in very early stages, we at least know that within this project, there is a plan to potentially replicate the Netherlands case also in Hungary. But without further introduction from my side, I would now like to give the word to Jacques to give us an introduction on the context of where this program fits in the regional level. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Mart. Welcome everybody. Jacques from province of Overijssel, province in the Netherlands, the east part bordering with Germany, North Rhine-Westphalia and Lower Saxony. A few years ago, we developed a strategic approach for stimulating SMEs to go on export activities, and we called it Go for Export. It's a private-public cooperation. The public delivers the money, the private sector and universities of applied science universities deliver the knowledge. It's aimed at the problems, the burdens, the obstacles that the SMEs experience in going abroad. There are several activities that is worked out in the program. Our aim as a government is to facilitate the SMEs to go abroad. Facilitating, stimulating. One of the activities is the Export Development Program, and Louise is leader of that program. Thanks for your attention. Louise.
Yeah, Louise, we can see your desktop, but please open the PowerPoint.
Yes, I'm working on the PowerPoint. Yes, thank you, Jacques.
Yep.
Louise, would you also hide the control panel on clicking on the red arrow? Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, Jacques, thank you very much. My name is Louise van Weerden. I'm associate professor at the University of Applied Sciences. And I would like to tell you a little bit about the Export Development Program. And the background of this program is that I find it very important to stress the strategic role of knowledge institutions. And if we talk about companies, they are very primarily working on development, production, selling products and services. And in order to do that, they need qualified people, qualified young talents, and therefore they need institutions of higher education. And what they need to do, the institutions, is to develop the right qualifications with the students, which matches the needs of the companies. So in order for the companies to operate successfully, they need access to qualified young talents from institutions of higher education. And that was actually the background of developing the Export Development Program. And the first slide will tell you a little bit about how this program is built. We decided to start the traineeship program. It's a traineeship program within the education. So the program involves that students in their last year, they need to do a graduation research. And this research is usually lasts 6 months. So what we do is we select companies who have an international topic related to the international strategy. And related to this topic, they have a profile of the right candidate. So what kind of qualifications, skills, personality does the company need in order to actually carry out the graduation research? And so what we do is we design the project, the research assignment, together with the profile of the candidate. And based on this information, we're actually going to look for the right students. Why is it important that we select the right graduation assignment together with the profile? Is that we're going to do a personal matching for the company so that we select the right students who, after the graduation, he's actually going to do his traineeship with the same company. So what we do is we select a student who's actually a potential employee for the company. So it's 6 months of graduation. In addition, the day after the graduation, the student is going to work as a trainee with the same company in order to implement recommendations of his graduation research. So it's a half-year graduation, half-year traineeship. This is important because the company then doesn't only have a market research, but he also has somebody available who can actually implement the recommendations. During the traineeship, which lasts 6 months, the trainee is employed with the company, he receives a salary, and he gains some work experience. And during the traineeship, we also deliver some workshops for the trainee with regard to the professional development. Topics could be project management skills. Other topics could be intercultural management skills. And another thing we add to the traineeship program is export coaching by an external export professional. We actually designed a pool of external export professionals who we align with the trainee and who is going to support, coach the trainee during his or her traineeship. And what we see is that the export coaching by the external coach is primarily related to personal development. So examples are, how are you going to cope with a difficult director? How are you going to get access to the right information? That sort of thing. After the traineeship, there are two possibilities. Either the trainee can be employed by the same company after the traineeship, for instance, as a job as a junior export manager, or he's going to be employed by another internalizing company. We have some benefits for the students of this program. First of all, they gain work experience at an internationalizing company, which is very important for them because they have worked on international business for 4 years only within the study, but and some practical work is usually done by internships, but now they are actually responsible for implementing their recommendations of their graduation research. So they put theory into practice, which is very important. And on basis of an evaluation study we did of the last 7 years, we discovered that to put theory into practice is one of the major motivations of the students to participate in this program. Another benefit is that they develop personal intercultural skills by professional coaching. And for them, it's also for the trainees, it's the first step into an international career. They get a paid traineeship, they develop an international network, they get to know the do's and don'ts within international business, and they get the responsibilities to actually make things work and get things done. The benefits for the companies are also high. They get the recruitment and selection and a personal matching of a candidate, which helps them to find maybe a potential employee. These students, trainees, they actually help to solve strategically important issues. So for instance, they help companies with developing a new market, or they help companies to find new customers within existing markets. And that means that companies get relevant information and new business contacts, which for them, it's important to make more business. What important is for the companies that they not only get a research report, which is usually the case with graduation thesis, but they also have the perspective that they, after the research report, they get somebody who's actually implementing the recommendations. So it's more than just a report. And in that respect, the trainees contribute to the export organization of the company. Another important advantage of the export development program for the companies is that the trainees are coached by experienced export professionals. And these export professionals, we organize them in a pool, and they actually bring in their expertise, their knowledge, their contacts within the company. So which is also very beneficial for the company. There are also benefits for the region. It's a program to retain talent in the region, and it supports the SMEs in the international business. Our evaluation research showed that almost 40% of the trainees stays in the region for jobs after the traineeship, which is quite a high rate. This pilot project of the Export Development Program now we carry out in Norway, which was partner of the Inside Out Europe project. And what we do now is we help Norway, the government, the companies, and the university to set up the same export development program in order to bridge the gap between the company's needs and the needs of the students' education. And we really would like to develop more pilot projects as a sort of spin-off of the export development program within the other partners of the Inside Out project. Even we're thinking of trying to develop a program in which, excuse me, in which the students, through the pilots of the EDP, could be actually also do a traineeship with companies in other countries. So for instance, the trainees in Norway could maybe do a traineeship with Dutch companies. That would be an interesting avenue to further research. So this is the Export Development Program. It runs now for almost 8 years. It has been very successful. And I think the major reason why it's successful is because of the personal matching of the student trainee with the companies. And this is actually also illustrated by a high percentage of trainees who stays with a job within the region after they finalize their traineeship. This was my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louise, and maybe Jacques can also join us on screen, and also René, my colleague. So I would maybe ask, well, thank you, Louise. I mean, I think what you mentioned in the end, this pilot project idea very much links back to our first session where Mr. Norbert Schöbel from the European Commission talked about the need of having cross-border and international student mobility and traineeship programs. So I think that pilot is working in the correct direction in that sense. But I wanted to ask, because you talked about all these benefits as the program director, I would like to ask Jacques, you as a regional representative, what is the benefit in your view of the export development program?
That's always a tough question because the direct benefit for a government is always hard to define. It's more or less indirect. Trade is at this moment over the whole world. Extension of the market in Europe is quite difficult, so you have to go abroad. When you go abroad as an SME, you have to be prepared. What are you going to do? Where's the market for you? How you build contacts? You have to create internal and external activities. For us, it's bringing extra benefits through export to the province. Means also that you need labor forces in the province, and that's the circle that we see. Stimulating export is creating jobs in the province, and of course also for the students, you give them a very wide experience that they are more suitable for the labor market, and that's also a benefit. We don't have any income or extra taxes or that kind of stuff. It's mainly about the labor market situation. Thanks.
And René, maybe a question from the audience or from your side?
I don't see any questions from the audience, so I would also invite the audience to put their questions, but I have a question on my own, and that concerns about the financing of this instrument, the program, namely who pays for what, and what is the financial structure, how much the government contributes, does the companies have to pay something, does the trainees have to pay something, and what can you briefly explain?
Perhaps, Louise, I will do the general thing, and you can do information about the export development program. The government pays all the costs that are connected to the activities, and the companies are not paying a kind of a fee or something, but they are investing time. And when you invest time, you can also finance debt. So it's mainly the government. And I'm not sure about the export development program, Louis. Oh, and the number, more or less, the province invests more or less $1 million a year in the activities.
So into how many traineeship it translates, how many persons are concerned per year?
Louise, I will give you the floor because that's one of the activities, and I'm not sure about.
Yeah. Well, this is the million is not only for the export development program, so let it clear. The companies pay €2,000 to participate. They get for the 2,000, they get a personally matched student, selected student trainee, and they also get, the student gets the coaching during the traineeship and the workshops. In addition, the company pays the salary, which is usually a minimum wage for the during the traineeship. And after the company wants to employ the trainee for another year, they can discuss whatever salary the new employee gets. But for the program, the company pays 2,000. In addition, the salary of the traineeship.
And how many trainees per year you have in average?
Well, that's interesting, good question, because what you usually see with these programs, it's about quantity. particularly also with institutes of higher education, they always talk about hundreds of students who need placements or traineeships. And I actually am in favor very much advocate the quality of programs, which means that this is a very much qualitative program. So we select on the skills, on the personality, on the right assignments. So you usually have 10, 15 per year. And the thing is, if you focus primarily on the quality, that is also reflected in the high rate of trainees who stay in the region. If you have the quality and you have the right match with the company, then the trainees usually stay within the region with the same company. So it's usually not more than 15 trainees per year.
Thank you. I see also a question now from the audience, and the question is the following: are the coaches paid?
The coaches are paid by the program, yes, which is subsidized by the government. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, both of you. And I'll invite Anita now to join us. We'll invite you back at the end of the session for wrap up and final questions. But now let's move to our second speaker. So Anita, you're welcome to turn on your camera, your microphone. Yeah, we see you. And we see the slideshow, so go ahead.
Okay. So it's my pleasure to welcome the audience. As Mart said, I'm Anita from Hungary, and I've been working for a Center of Vocational Training. We coordinate the traineeship program in Hungary, and let's see how it works and how can we assist the SMEs. I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me.
Maybe if you click the arrow on the keyboard.
How can I? I'm sorry, I just tried to.
No problem. It's usually if you click or press the arrow.
You just see the first slide, but I just try to tell you.
Anita, I can share your presentation if you want.
Yes, so Eugenie can share for you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry for technical problem. It was worse last time. So I plan to say a few words about our traineeship program in Hungary. So this program is in the part of Hungarian Youth Guarantee, and it has two components. One of these is supporting how can we support employment of trainees, and the other one which focus on support services, how the employing, how can the company employ the trainees, and it's our project. Actually, we popularize this program to make raising the awarenesses of employing the company, the trainees. So on the slide, maybe you can't see, but this program is covered all the Hungarian regions at regional level. We work close cooperation with the other vocational training centers in consortium and with the Ministry of Innovation and Technology is involved in the implementation of this program. So the main point is how can we involve and what are the elements of this program. The aim of this program, as I mentioned, how can we support the employment? We focus on youth who are under the age of 25. The needs, you know, they are not anymore in education and they are not trained for work. So what they can receive, the enterprises employ them for 9 months. They can get a wage subsidy for it in a full time, and after that they have to employ them for continue the employment for 4.5 months. Which support are more available? For example, it's the wages, and if the wages of the trainee, it's paid by the program and not for the trainee. It is allowed to pay for the mentor as well, who are supervised the trainee at the host company. And it is very popular among the entrepreneurs to apply for a cost which cover the cost of equipment which relates to the employment. I tried to some results of our program. Let's turn to, unfortunately you can't see the numbers, but I can tell you about how many companies are involved in this program since it was launched in 2016. We reached more than almost 5,000 companies. They are small, micro-sized company in the regions, and we informed youngster and SMEs as well about the program. We reached more than 40,000 youngster all in the country, and 8,000 SMEs. And to tell about the advantage of this program. So as I said, we worked in consortium with the ministry and the other vocational training centers, and of course close cooperation to other authority like employment services and youth services at the regional level. To sum up our experience, firstly, I can mention the cooperation with the company. It's improved our very high level, because we provide advice and we are consist connection with them. We have directly contact with the mentor of the host company. So the collaboration became very strong, and we can involve them in many events we organize. And for us is the most of benefit from the program that we can involve these companies in our vocational dual training system as well, so we can work together more effective, and it can be a very good transition for the student from a school to work. And based on our experience informing the graduates is very essential about this program, because they are still in school and we reach them easily. I think the time is over, but on the last, on the last slide, you can see the feedback, what we got from the companies, how successful is the project and how can we help them. We have got really good feedback from them and corporate. We would like to involve them in the other future project as well, to develop together the regions. Thank you, and thanks for the technical helps.
Yes, thank you, Anita. And indeed, the slides will also be shared later in a follow-up article with everybody, and we have an extended slide deck from Anita. So for those of you who are interested more in the Hungarian practice, you can find out about it. But I would invite my colleague René to join us on screen again. We have some audience questions. And I will just also say that we'll take 10 more minutes because we have a nice interaction going on. So we'll stay online a bit longer to answer these questions. So René and Anita, also stay with us, please. Let's take the questions.
I don't actually see any questions from the audience, but if we have time, I have a question on my own.
Of course. Okay, René, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering that in terms of engaging and enrolling those young people into your program, how have you managed? Because this target group might be sometimes difficult to engage, and what is your kind of recommendation for other regions, how to onboard those young people to your program?
Yeah, you are right. The reaching and contacting with the needs, it's a very difficult problem in Hungary as well. But what we can do is to avoid these young people being need is for the school, the prevention and early intervention as well. So the best way when we reach them, if they are still in school and after they are no longer in our education system, we have to strong collaborate with the other regional stakeholders as well, like public employment services and youth organization. So we have to work in a strong cooperation to reach them. I think organizing common events which fit the youth and reach them where they live.
Okay, and I see the audience question, so I'll ask it myself.
Oh, yes.
So the question from the audience is that how are the companies selected for the program who take the trainees?
They can directly apply via the government applicant website. So if when they submission their project, the applicant for the project, after that, if they fully feel well the project documentation and have a clear activity, then after they can get a grant. So it's not our task, it's an application portal, and it is a government decision. We don't see the applicants. Only when they were successful, we can get contact with them how to develop the project.
Okay, thank you. And I would now invite also Jacques and Louise back on screen to have a joint discussion with some questions. So maybe starting from our colleagues from the Netherlands, because you also talked about that within the Inside Out EU project, you're already planning a pilot in Norway. I was wondering about, what do you think is the most important thing that the region needs to consider, or a higher education institution, when they want to replicate the export program into their region? What is the sort of lesson that they should take with them, or something they need to consider?
Okay, that's quite simple for me. Don't replicate. You need to adapt the way of thinking and the way of acting, but it must be suitable in your own environment. There's a certain relation between education, government, and SMEs, and you need to use that connection and that framework. So don't replicate. That doesn't function.
Does Louise want to add something to this?
Yes, I would like to add, because the pilot is already running in Norway now for almost a year, and we have 5 companies participating. What I see as a difference, although have a lot of Norwegian background myself, but what I see as a difference is that the Norwegians are less used to students' input into international business. I can see that our University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands are more used to hire students for specific projects. In Norway, that's not really common, but I'm not saying they don't do it, but it's less common than in our country. So you need a little bit more of energy to sort of organize the whole thing. But it's so far the pilot is quite successful, and right now we are actually talking about a plan to continue the pilot after the summer.
Okay, and actually a similar question to Anita as well, with your traineeship program in Hungary, especially aimed at the net youth. If another region would want to do something similar, what would be the key message that you would tell them, or a piece of advice that you would provide them in replicating this practice?
I'm sorry, I was unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see. I'm sorry, but
we can see
you. Can you
you
repeat the question? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yes. So the question is that the traineeship program that you have in Hungary for now over 4 years, what do you think is the most interesting element that could be transferred to other regions? And what should be kept in mind if some other region wants to implement a similar program in their country? What should they consider while doing this?
Okay, I think the most interesting element of our program is of course, the financial support to the companies. As I mentioned, not only the wages subsidy of trainee, but it is very important. All the trainees have a mentor, and it's worked very well together. And the cost of the mentors is all cover the program. And what's more, the mentor service, but I haven't mentioned yet. We also assistant a mentor service to the companies. So I think the financial support is not enough. Financial support with the information support is the most interesting element of the program.
So the mentoring is provided to the companies, not the students, or both?
For both, yes. If they have any problem until the employment period, we can help to a company. For example, if the trainee want to leave the company before the employment period expire, we will meet with the trainee to solve the problem. What's the problem? Why they want to leave the company? And we cooperate very close, and we can advise about how to improve and how to they have to follow up the progress of the trainees. So they have to send us a monthly report about the progress of the students, so we can mentoring the employment in this way.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you, Anita. And I think for our audience, I think there are many good lessons were shared by all of you today. So first, the message from Jack was that don't replicate and see what fits in your context. But I still hope that both from the Netherlands and the Hungarian case, you got some interesting ideas how something similar could be implemented. And some other lessons as well, that besides financing, you might need more work with individuals as through mentoring, or as Louise talked about, this you need to put effort into personal matching the right student, the right higher education institution, and the right company. But now I would like to tell you what happens next. So I will share my screen as well. So first of all, a great big thank you to all our speakers. But we hope that this is not the end of the journey, although we've gone through 3 sessions. The challenge of retaining youth and matching them with companies and helping companies to export, as with the export development program, or innovate, as we discussed in the last sessions, I think it's still fully relevant going forward. And so if this topic interests you, there are ways that the policy learning platform under Interreg Europe can help you further. So you're very welcome to join our website, where you can get all this, the recordings, other reports, and the community of peers, so other regional stakeholders. But more concretely, I would like to mention that we have an article recently published about upskilling and reskilling of workforce, which consists of different webinars and reports. So we recommend you checking that out. Then once again, you are welcome to rewatch the previous sessions or watch them for the first time if you haven't seen them before. Today's session was also recorded and will be uploaded on Monday. But also please be active in reaching out to us and using our free services where we can help you further. So we have 3 main types of services that we can help you as regional policymakers and managers of funding instruments. First of all, if you start from the sort of left to right, then the policy help desk is basically just an email inquiry. Write to us if you have any questions that were unanswered today, or you have some more concrete policy challenge, and we will get back to you with relevant materials that we have. If this is not enough for you, and maybe you would like to engage with peers like Jack and Anita and Louise or our other speakers, then please, you fit very well into our matchmaking and peer review programs. So one of them is a 2-hour session, whereas the other is a 2-day meeting, and we're hosting both of these online currently. And what they do is that you come with your very specific regional policy challenge. Let's say maybe you want to implement a similar program of matching young talent with SMEs, but you don't know really how to start, or you're not sure how the financing of it should look like. then you're welcome to reach out to us, and we will connect you with the peers who have done something similar in their regions already, and we can organize virtual meetings to try to figure out which solution would work best in your region. So all of this information in greater detail is available on our website, this expert support subpage. And indeed, if you have any questions, please reach out to us after this webinar as well. So once again, a great big thank you for all the speakers, and likewise to all the attendees for being with us today and the past 3 weeks. We'll see you next time, and have a nice Friday. Bye.